Welcome to Vlogmas Day 5. So, I just want to talk about something that's bothering me for a little while. This is an unscripted video. I think you could call this more ASL, but I do believe that this video might make people hate me, but to be honest, I don't really care. So for this topic I want to talk about, or for this video I want to talk about gatekeeping. And gatekeeping in the deaf community. And a lot happens in the deaf community, unfortunately. There's a lot of gatekeeping issues in the deaf community, but I want to focus on the topic that is related to ASL. It is true, a lot of people in the deaf community are not skilled in American Sign Language, but you know what? Most of us are going without these deaf role models. So how do we learn this sign language to begin with? Some people grew up with no language whatsoever. So of course we're not going to be fluent ASL because a lot of us had role models who were not deaf or people who did not sign. And unfortunately, that's what happened. So this is the exact reason why I am upset. And I will get into more detail about people's comments, but right now I just wanted to talk about the reason why I'm not really looking at ASL that much anymore. I used to before. It was interesting discussions. I would always be curious, oh, what's the sign for this? What's the sign for this? And that was just for myself. And before, I would make videos of certain signs or what's the sign for this English word. And I am not really focused on that right now. And the main reason, or really for specific people, I don't want to say there's only 3, but there's a few specific people that I don't really want to see them. To be honest, I don't want to see these people. But that does affect the rest of the sign language and signing community. And I don't want to say I'm angry, but I do have certain feelings for these certain people. So some people would post videos asking for signs for this certain word, or maybe putting ideas for different signs, leaving things in the comments, whatever. So they'll ask a question and someone will respond in the comments. And then these specific people will respond to those comments or those posts and say the first thing that they type is typically, are you deaf? Did you grow up signing? And other questions, but the main 2 questions are you deaf and did you grow up signing? And I want to understand why. Why do you want to know that? I mean, okay, yes, this is your language. You do have the right to comment about your own language. But the second question, did you grow up signing? That doesn't sit well with me. I mean, I'm curious, what is their level of signs? Are they fluent? Or are they a recent ASL learner? Did they grow up with signed exact English? Did they grow up with, ASL? So really, whatever their reason, but there's one specific person, a few others, but one specific person always has to ask those questions and then add, I'm deaf, I'm from a deaf family, I grew up signing. And that attitude just doesn't sit well with me. And that's what I get from those comments.
There's one simple hearing hack anyone can use to improve their hearing almost overnight. Did you know that
And those are their responses to the vlogs. So again, I'm from a deaf family. I'm deaf. I grew up signing. And for me, I'm a little bit like, take it back. Like, just because you're deaf, just because you are from a deaf family does not mean that you are above everybody else. It doesn't. That is gatekeeping. What if this person just started learning sign language 2 years ago and you're already writing that person off because they didn't grow up learning sign language? It's not their fault. So I grew up signing Sign Exact English up until I started going to elementary school, started learning more American Sign Language from deaf adults around me. But I wasn't really signing strong ASL until college. And now I do, English sometimes influences my signs, but that's just how I grew up. I have my own thoughts and ideas on American Sign Language, and I don't see the problem with that because sign language is my language too. And these people act like that the people who did not grow up signing are trying to take over their language and take over their culture, and that's not true. These people who grew up signing and grew up in deaf families are really pushing them out. And these people have their own thoughts and feelings about people who did not grow up signing. And excuse my language, but that's bullshit. You don't know what their background really is. You don't know their knowledge. And maybe this person is brilliant in language or in English, but maybe ASL was not their first language. Sometimes I see people give some suggestions for signs. I'm like, oh, cool, I like that idea. Maybe I've never learned that sign. Maybe I don't use that sign, but it doesn't matter. If it fits the ASL, if it's in a different way to sign it, that's fine. But when you shoot down people just because they're not the perfect picture of what you would say as a signer, grew up learning ASL, grew up in a deaf family, I don't know, that's just not okay. I don't know. I get upset with these people because these specific people are exactly the reason why so many hearing parents of deaf children say, I don't want my deaf child to be part of that. I want my deaf child to be part of my family. And they push that away. That's unfortunately a lost opportunity. And these elitist people have their attitudes. That is causing a lot of deaf children to be quote unquote lost in the deaf community because of their attitude, because of their judgmental attitude where they look down on people who don't sign or don't sign true ASL. And it's not their fault. It's the doctor's fault. Blame the doctors. It's not the deaf child's fault. It's not the parent's fault. I mean, I could go on and on and on about this topic because it really just makes me so angry. However, I am close to the 10-minute mark, so I am just going to wrap it up there. And I mean, maybe I'll add a little bit more in the comments, more of my thoughts in the comments. But go ahead, comment on your opinion. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? I mean, whatever. Again, I don't care. It's completely fine if you disagree. It's just your opinion. I just want to have a discussion. But please, please keep it civil. Do not shoot down other people. Do not be mean. It's just really unnecessary. Just don't be mean in general, period. So yeah, I think that's it for today. Thank you for watching and see you guys tomorrow. And thank you for supporting me.